Hello, everybody, and thanks so much for coming back to my channel. My name is Dion, and this is D. Maria Reacts. So, how are you all doing today? I am so grateful for you all coming to just watch how I react to different things going on in the headlines in the US of A. Something I was watching earlier today, and I'm just outdone by this. So let's check it out.
The NYPD is looking for several suspects in a drugstore burglary pattern.
Police say the suspects were involved in 8 different incidents where they tried to break into pharmacies by breaking their glass doors or rolling down those heavy security gates.
Great, just what we need, a new robbery pattern targeting pharmacies in New York, many of which are having problems staying open. With Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid closing a combined 40 locations in 2024 alone, leaving New York with about half the number of pharmacies it had just 10 years ago. But before our leaders thought it would be a good idea to stop sending thieves to jail where they belong.
We've spoken to several managers at various drugstores around New York City. Though none would go on camera, all tell us they've seen an increase in thefts.
Millions of dollars in stolen goods seized in Queens and put on display for cameras. The thieves had an eye for cosmetics, beauty products, designer clothing, and accessories.
The shoplifting concerns are part of a growing trend in the city, but due to current laws, many of those arrested were released back on the streets to do it again.
This man just came in, grabbed a whole bunch of makeup stuff that was on the side, and just ran out. Security tried to stop him, but he was already gone.
Rafael and Sean Martez have been getting their prescriptions filled at this Walgreens for at least a year. They believe shoplifting played a role in the store's closure.
They have it locked up because sometimes they get boosters that come in there and steal their stuff.
I don't know if they're stealing it from here or they're stealing it from another place to sell it here.
These plexiglass screens and all these other inconveniences creates additional friction, and friction is the death of retail.
And it's like nothing is being done.
So do you feel like it's getting bolder?
Yeah, it definitely is getting bolder.
So, nearly half of New York City's drugstores have disappeared over the last decade as retail theft continues running rampant.
What in the world? First of all, what's happening in the minds of people that they just don't even care? They don't think about anyone but themselves. They're not thinking about at all about the fact that stores are going to leave their communities because they are unable to thrive, unable to make a profit, because people are taking it upon themselves to just walk away with things. I mean, it's outrageous. And what's even as outrageous is the fact that the leadership in these major cities are openly condoning this behavior. I mean, they pretend like they're concerned. They pretend like they are taking steps to, deal with the issue. But in actuality, like he just said, they're released. If they are taken into custody, they are released right back out into the community to just turn around and do the same thing again. And the thing of it is now, these crimes are misdemeanors. So essentially, they are just getting a slap on the wrist, and they have no reason not to just continue with the same behavior. So and they're stealing ridiculous things. I mean, I guess it's anything they can sell on the streets for cheap. But you're selling soap products, and it's just insane.
Nobody's talking about is all of these pharmacy closures. They're happening 1 year after our leaders promised to get tough on shoplifting, a promise many businesses are still waiting for them to keep. And sadly, if you walk through any pharmacy in town, you'll be greeted with all the signs that the high crime environment afflicting our stores is here to stay.
And this is something I hate, and this is, you notice this probably all over the nation, and certainly I notice it in my city. When I'm going to the store to get certain items, and I always have to call someone to come get the item for me because they have to keep it locked away in a glass case. So you're hiring personnel to basically do the shopping for people because people are not, allowed to shop for themselves because everything is locked down. It's like if you want to help your organization and you want to make a profit and keep being able to sell these goods, whatever is not nailed down can get snatched. So you have to lock everything down. I think it's just utterly ridiculous. And the way that particular clip, everything in the store is behind glass encasement. That is some outlandish mess. I can't believe it.
With locations throughout New York locking up their products because here we won't lock up our criminals. Because stealing here's been decriminalized, making New York a breeding ground for
Stealing has been decriminalized. Wow.
professional criminals who take things that aren't theirs and then sell them on the internet or on the side of the street somewhere. Perpetually funding illegal retail arbitrage businesses that will exist as long as shoplifting here remains a non-jailable misdemeanor, provided it's peaceful shoplifting.
Oh, shoplifting is a non-jailable misdemeanor. Oh, no wonder. They don't even have to get taken in. What do they do? Just write them a ticket? Wow.
Thing that doesn't escalate to a physical altercation with another person, as for some reason our criminal sympathizer leaders don't think.
Let me run that back. Let me run that part back. What?
Businesses that will exist as long as shoplifting here remains a non-jailable misdemeanor, provided it's peaceful shoplifting that doesn't escalate to a physical altercation with another person, as for some reason our criminal sympathizer leaders don't think destroying security.
Look at it. They're taking coffee, Benadryl. They just snatching whatever. Any and everything is getting snatched.
Security barriers or cutting security tags counts as violent behavior. And that brings us to the real reason why New York is losing so many pharmacies, leaving many neighborhoods without a viable alternative to get things like prescription medication or everyday basic items. Many of these businesses were already struggling for a variety of reasons, and as retail theft continues to creep up, it erodes whatever was left in the store's margins, leaving them no choice but to shut down. Something Walgreens alone did 22 times last year, leaving it with just 189 locations left in New York. Theft isn't just a problem for pharmacies that end up closing. It also raises the cost of living for every New Yorker, even those who already buy everything online from places like Amazon.
So, and there you have it. So it's a self-fulfilling kind of situation because this problem drives up prices. So that will encourage people to buy the stolen goods, which are probably cheaper, I would imagine. But wow, this is crazy.
Revealing that as criminals loot and destroy these businesses, they're actually destroying New York City itself. So New York City has obviously got a lot of former retail storefronts that have been shut down. But if you want to see what out-of-control retail theft is really doing to the city, take a look at the stores that are still open. Like this one, where pretty much everything is locked up behind plexiglass, except for low-demand products nobody's buying right now in New York, like sunscreen. Look at this. Even the picture of the product that is here, so you don't steal the actual product, even it's locked up, so you don't steal the picture. But on top of all this in-store security, you'll also see something else, a blinking camera array on top of this CVS, with flashing lights meant to scare criminals into thinking the police could be inside, or at least watching. Sadly, none of this security is having the intended effect because our stores are still shut down.
It's terrible what's going on.
Raphael and Sean Martez have been getting their prescriptions filled at this Walgreens for at least a year. They believe shoplifting played a role in the store's closure.
I have seen it happen right in front of my face. This man just came in, grabbed a whole bunch of makeup stuff that was on the side, and just ran out. Security
So, as you can tell from all this security plastic, these places are getting robbed constantly, sometimes right in front of paying customers. And look at all the cracks around this product locker here on this Tide. It's almost as if somebody tried to tamper with this and break through it to get at the products underneath. And before we get into the unstoppable proportions this crime wave has now,
Lysol cleaning wipes are sitting behind the plexiglass. These people steal anything that's not nailed down. That's a crying shame.
Reached, look at who the real victims are from all this stealing. Of course, the store itself is a victim of crime, obviously, but the people who live near a place like this, they're the ones that suffer the most, because after a store like this is gone, where do they go to get the things they need and have relied on buying from it on a weekly basis? And what about the people that work at a place like this? Once it's gone, where are they going to work? Now, yes, every time a store like this shuts down over crime, the brand always says that they'll do everything they can to redeploy their workforce to other locations. But that just hurts everybody, because now the people who work at those other locations are going to have less hours because there's now a surplus of workers.
See, I can't imagine that. Oh, so I'm working at a place, in my community, and I travel there and everything, and then it comes to a point like this where my store gets closed down. And so suddenly my life has to be drastically changed. I have to then take a position at a store outside of my community. And, and so transportation changes around, and that's just too much. They are doing way too much.
If the workers that were at a store that closed can even get to whatever location they've been redeployed to. But even if the workers can get to the new location, so can the criminals. In fact, they ride around on the subway here for free because we don't care about fare evasion either. And that's the real problem here, because if
fare evasion.
Customers need a new store to shop at, and workers need a new store to work at. Criminals, they're going to need a new store to steal from, and everybody's going to end up at whatever store is still hanging on. And hanging on is definitely the best way to describe it. After one Upper East Side pharmacy closed, the sole surviving location said that they were getting robbed once an hour. And as you're about to see, closing stores is not going to put a stop to New York City's theft problems at all. In fact, it's only going to make it worse.
Another guy, while he was chasing him, stole candy.
And it's like nothing is being done.
So do you feel like it's getting bolder?
Yes, it definitely is getting bolder.
Walgreens said only economic headwinds are making...
So see, this is that new policing, defund the police. This is that theory at work. You have less police personnel on the streets. They're soft on crime. I mean, this is the extreme that happens when those kind of policies are what's being enforced. Pitiful shame. Pitiful shame. Wow. That's just horrible. So they end up then vacating these buildings, and you've got all these abandoned business buildings, and you have major cities in the United States of America looking like ghost towns, really. And people are reduced to either buying things on the streets, and you don't know if it's been tampered with or not. Either that or ordering it from Amazon. But then you got to deal with, the porch pirates, and somebody stole my stuff off my porch. Well, they don't all have porches in New York, but you know what I mean. So, something's got to be done. Hopefully, people will come to a point that they realize that these crazy, progressive policies are ridiculous. They don't work, and people are going to have to decide to make a change for themselves, because it all goes back to leadership. I know people like to say, you politicize everything, but it goes back to leadership, point blank, it does. Anyway, so that's all I have on that subject. If you are getting value from my content, I would like you to please press that like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe to this channel, and hit that bell notification so that you do not miss any of my other videos. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.